I'd like to call this meeting of the Clay County Commission to order. We will begin with our invocation. This evening we have Pastor Nick, and I will try to pronounce this correctly. There he comes towards the speaker. Di Benedetto. Close enough. By the way, for those coming to speak, and that's for you as well, Pastor, make sure that the button is pushed. You have the green light. Speak clearly into the microphone, and the floor is yours.
Very good. My name is Pastor Nick Di Benedetto. You did very good. I'm the lead pastor of Radiant Life Church in Kearney, right next to the Fun Farm. You can see us right off of I-35. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this evening. We're thankful for your goodness and your faithfulness and your love towards us. Lord, we come before you tonight, and we ask you to bless this time together. Lord, I'm thankful for the leaders that are present here tonight. It is your words that says that you raise up leaders and put them in positions. So I thank you for this commission that is serving you as they serve your people. Lord, as we work through the agenda tonight, Lord, I pray for a spirit of unity and harmony, even in the face of disagreements. Lord, I pray for your wisdom for every decision that is made and for every course of action that is laid out for the future. And Lord, we pray for a heart of service to continue to rise up in each one as we serve this county. Lord, I pray for the members of this commission. Lord, I pray that you would bless them, bless their families, and can continue to keep them in health and in peace. We're thankful for your presence here tonight, and we pray let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you for hearing our prayers, and we pray them all in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte? Here. Commissioner Withington?
Here.
Commissioner Lawson? Here. Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here. Commissioner Johnson, did you wish to be recognized? No. Okay. That brings us to approval of this evening's agenda. Is there a motion related to this evening's agenda? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion's been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Discussion, Commissioner Withington, do you wish to be recognized?
Yes, I would like
There you go.
to pull 2023 335 from the consent agenda and put it on the regular agenda.
335, let me go ahead, there we are. That would be, just to confirm, 2023-335, which is payments for Clay County for the period from October 14, 2023 to October 25, 2023. That is the one you wish to put on regular?
Yep.
Very well. I don't believe that. I believe any commissioner can make that request, so we will take that and move that item onto the regular agenda. Do you really care whether it goes before or after?
I mean, there's only one item, so I could care less where it's at.
Okay, well, then we will put it after 336, if that is acceptable. Are there any other comments or changes anyone wishes to make to the agenda this evening? All right, so that would mean that we would, I will recognize Commissioner Wagner to close on the approval of the agenda as amended.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. That brings us to ceremonial matters. We have one item on there, 2023-333. Administrator?
Yes, I would like to bring forward Deputy County Administrator Donna Kuntz and Parks Director Mike Driscoll. It is a joyous occasion and a sad occasion for us in announcing, and today is the last commission meeting. Tomorrow is the last day for Director Driscoll, who is retiring from the county after 27 plus years of service. So we want to recognize all his hard work and appreciate what he's done for the county and our citizens over the last 27 years.
I believe you have some words to say, Deputy Administrator?
Yes. Thank you. Good evening. Donna Kuntz, Deputy County Administrator. First of all, before we begin, I'm very honored to get to read his honorary resolution, but I have known our Park Director, Mike Driscoll, for approximately 14 or 15 years, but more importantly, I was the person that got to ask him in 2021 to step up and direct our park departments for the last 3 years, which he has done an admirable job. And he is well-liked by many of our citizens. He's a problem solver, and we certainly are in debt, and we're going to be missing him very much for his service to us. So with that, I would like to give you your copy of the resolution. If you will bear with me while I read it, please. Whereas Clay County Commission would like to recognize Mike Driscoll for his exceptional 27 years of dedicated service to Clay County. Whereas Mike began his career in 1996 as a golf course maintenance employee and transitioned in 2000 to co-golf course superintendent. In 2007, Mike was promoted to maintenance manager and then named as superintendent of parks. Whereas Mike took great pride in all of the experience he gained throughout the Clay County Park System and was named park director in 2021. Whereas Mike has been a valuable team member for the Clay County Safety and Wellness Board and to our Clay County Park Board. Whereas his sense of humor, kindness, energy, and graciousness has enriched those fortunate enough to know and work with him. Whereas we commend Mike and express deep appreciation and gratitude for all of his contributions to Clay County and wish him all the best in his true passion of hunting and fishing. I told him it might have to warm up a little bit before he goes fishing again. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the County Commission of Clay County, Missouri, on behalf of the citizens of Clay County, does hereby recognize Mike Driscoll, our Clay County Park Director. And let me congratulate him. I think we're going to take a photo. I'm getting my hug.
Okay.
I told him I was hugging him later.
I would just like to say real quick that it has been my privilege to work and spend my time here with Clay County Parks. And from the beginning at a golf course where I really didn't know anything much about it, and it just kind of proves that if you stay with it and work hard and keep learning, trust your people, and with good leadership, you can definitely make a career out of it. And I am always grateful for the opportunities that have been given to me from Clay County. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. Something that we talked about earlier was the changes that you've seen this county go through in your time of service, and it's really something to see that you were able to put in so much time, and the county is absolutely a better place for your efforts and your hard work over the years, and we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson, I believe you seek recognition.
I just want to say how much I appreciate you. You've been so wonderful to deal with, and thank you very much for your help with the trap range. But you know, I think it is unbelievably commendable that you have been able to withstand all the political upheaval that any county would have. And you've been just a professional gentleman through the whole good and the bad. So I commend you, and I thank you so, so much. You've been wonderful to work with.
Thank you very much. That's very, very nice. Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to share the same sentiments. You know, coming in after the 2020 elections with my fellow commissioners on my left and right here, you know, we had, especially at the senior staff level, we were kind of starting from scratch. And right from the beginning, it was wonderful to have a lot of faith and trust in your ability to do a really big and important job. And you've also just always been such a friendly presence and knowledgeable on the issues under your purview, and just very grateful.
Thank you. It has been a great pleasure to work with you all as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Well, first of all, Mike, thank you very much for your service. I wanted to give your family, who I know came here for the earlier reception, a little word of warning. And that is, Mike's going to smile a lot more. He's going to probably tell more jokes. And don't be weirded out by that. But I do find that when you have an exemplary public service career, which you have had, the weights that you didn't know were there suddenly lift. And those around you, I think, appreciate your time with them all the more. But all kidding aside, because it is true what I just said, all kidding aside, we sometimes, we don't have the pleasure of having plaques put up and other things that show the work that we did, whether in your case it was at the golf course or at Smithville Lake or anything like that. But I do encourage you to tell those around you the contributions that you've made so that they remember what they were. We will. But it is funny how memories kind of go after a while. So be proud of your contribution to this county, and don't be afraid to tell people what you've done for this county, because it's been a lot, and I'm very thankful for it. So thank you and
Thank
good
you
luck.
very
Mike.
much.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you.
If there are no other commissioners that want to make any kind of comment, I'm sorry, Commissioner Johnson, there you are.
I talked with Mike a little bit out in the lobby earlier, but I'll say it publicly, thank you. Just thank you for your service. You spent a good portion of your life in this county, working for this county, and you've definitely left your mark on this county. And we appreciate that. And like my fellow Commissioner Wagner mentioned, don't be afraid to brag about that. You've got a lot to brag about. You've done a lot of good things here, so we appreciate that. And going into retirement, like I told you out there, you'll probably be more busy in retirement than you were working. That's how it happens to a lot of people.
No doubt.
The difference is you get to decide what you do. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. Well, someone might tell you what to do, but you won't have any bosses here to tell you what to do. So enjoy your retirement, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Or are we going to take some pictures? Okay, we will stand at ease for a moment while we take some pictures, then we will return to our agenda.
You're actually in the middle of the picture.
Perfect. It's like you've done this before. It's perfect, thank you. All right, up here, we'll do 1, 2, 3. Thank you all.
Next on our agenda is the section for public comment. If any member of the public would like to come forward and make any comments, I just want to make sure that there's an understanding that because any comments that you make that are not on our agenda, we are not allowed to respond to, with the exception of making obvious answers to inquiries, but we're not really available to discuss items not on our agenda. Please come forward, make sure the light is green on the caller, state your name, and make your comment. So is there anyone who would care to comment tonight? Any member of the public? Please come forward, and if there is anyone else in addition, go ahead and queue up behind this gentleman. That way I can kind of keep track and make sure we flow well. Please proceed.
My name's Lee Mullinex. I live up north Clay County. I'm up here about the roads again, 184th Street, Lancaster, and 190th Street. After we was up here 2 weeks ago, I brought 26 people that live on that road with me. 26 people come up here complaining about the road. The next day after that, there was a crew out there patching that road. with asphalt patch. In the meantime, let's see, it's a northbound road on the east side of I-35, going from 33 highway, or 69 highway up. They asphalted that whole road all the way up through there. It's about 6.5 miles. There's no houses on that road whatsoever. Just open fields. Now, they done the west side of I-35, the outer road on it, and there's only maybe about 10 houses on it. It's about 4.5 miles, 5 miles long. My road is 3.5 miles long. I've asked the people at the county barn several times, many times. Many of the people that was with me have asked too, for the last 2.5 years. I know you can't answer this question, but I want to know why it takes 26 people to come up here, complain about the road. The next day, they go out there to patch it and fix it. The second thing is, I want to know why that road hasn't been asphalted when they're asphalting every other road around in the county. It's a little bit disgusting. I pay a lot of taxes in this county, so does a lot of other people. So, you know, if everybody starts paying their taxes under protest, it's going to cause a problem. And that's what I'm going to suggest for everybody that's up there on that road. So I'd like to get answers out of the people that are responsible for that. And for some reason, I can't get them. Whenever the lady was out here last time we was up here, I asked her. Her answer to me was, well, I really don't know. I've been told that for the last 2.5 years. I'd just like to have an answer. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other citizen who wish to come forward and express an opinion? Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. Administrator?
The consent agenda allows the commission to act upon items considered to be routine and approved in one motion. These may include items that have been reviewed by the commission in a prior session. There will be no separate discussion unless a commissioner requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. After the amendment to the agenda, there are 3 items on the consent agenda this evening. Commission meeting minutes from October 5th, October 12th, and October 19th. Resolution 2023-334 is approving the 2024 intergovernmental agreement with Mid-America Regional Council, Solid Waste Management District for Regional Household Waste Collection Program. And Resolution 2023-337, approving the annual AWAS Support and Maintenance Agreement, DBT Transportation Services for the airport.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. I move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of the consent agenda as reported out and as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That takes care of our consent agenda. Next is our regular agenda. First item is 2023-336. Administrator?
Resolution 2023-336 is consideration of approving invoice payments for the Clay County Prosecutor's Office from October 14th through October 25th. There are 18 invoices totaling $4,319.60.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2023-336.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2023-336. Any discussions, questions, or comments? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
I'll recuse myself.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, 1 recusal.
Thank you. That brings us to the second item on our agenda, which was moved from consent to regular, and that is 2023-335. Administrator?
Resolution 2023-335 is the consideration of approving invoice payments for the county from October 14th through October 25th. There are 465 invoices totaling $1,626,510.94.
Commissioner Withington.
Yeah, so every week I scroll through these, and this week, there's one item that caught my eye that I would like to get, to know more information on, to know what this was about. Page 3, Leela B. Beauty, 50-minute facials for 6 people, $150, HR.
I'm going to call Director Callahan to come up and talk about that expenditure.
Good evening, Commissioners. Kim Callahan, HR Director. This was a pilot program that we're trying, and we tried it with some people in HR and our Treasury Department. We have a wellness fund that we receive from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we get pre-approval on everything that we try. And this was a lady that we could use that actually would go to the highway, that would go to Parks Department, and she does massages and facials. So I was like, well, what kind of facial? And it was actually a 15-minute facial. And I was like, well, so we were like, well, what kind of facial can you get? And it's all stress relief. We do chair massages, go out to different departments and do chair massages. We have a Hy-Vee lady, a dietitian that does classes and comes in and will do like a healthy breakfast or a healthy lunch. Mm-hmm. So, but it's all pre-approved, and this has already been reimbursed by Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it was a new vendor, a new pilot program that we were trying.
So Blue Cross Blue Shield paid for it, not taxpayers?
Right.
Okay.
And I had to put it on my P card, but we were reimbursed by them.
Okay.
And like I say, we don't do anything unless it's pre-approved by them for a wellness program. And it's just basically stress relief and the men, they're not gonna want a facial, but they'll do, a chair massage. And it's
So
just,
are you guys gonna be rolling this out to more people?
yes.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a pilot program, but there's some things she needs to do before we can send her out into the county.
Okay.
It's just something different.
Yeah, I just saw that, and I wanted to make sure.
And I appreciate that,
Yeah.
I do. I know it looks like, oh, facials, but it was nice for 15 minutes. But I think it'll be exciting for people, just 15 minutes away from their desk, away from the computer, whether it's a chair, neck massage, or, a facial.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any other discussion on 2023-335? Commissioner Withington, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I was just going to make a motion that we go ahead and approve 2023-335 since I was the one who moved it, if that's acceptable.
Of course. Motion's been made for the approval of 2023-335. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Sorry, Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
That completes our regular agenda for this evening. Next is discussion, our discussion items. The first item up for discussion, 2024 Budget Outside Agencies Administration. Administrator?
Yes, Commission, as a follow-up to last week, as you recall, we had several of our outside agencies in which we partner with, and they make application to the county with regarding funding for their programs. We had one of our vendors that had partners that had a conflict last week, and so we've asked them to be here this evening. So I'd like to introduce Karen Dolt, who's with the Northland Healthcare Access Group, and she's going to be here to talk about their request for 2024.
Thank you. Make sure your microphone is on and proceed.
Oh, yes. I always do that after all these years. So first, I do apologize not to be able to be here, but our one big event, our one big fundraising event was last week, and we had about 300 people, and sorry all of you couldn't be there with us to enjoy it, but so I'm glad to be able to present today. So I have, should be at your place, is a packet. So I think most of you are very familiar with what we do, but I thought I'd just go through this packet briefly with you, and then I'm going to speak to you because we have requested additional dollars. And why would we do that? And where do those dollars go? So in the left-hand side is really just an overview of all of our programs and the numbers of people we serve. We also included a budget, and we included a roster of all of our board of directors. And as you can see, if you'll just look through those folks that do serve on our board, I know you know many of them. They're leaders in our community. They're our physicians and CEOs and executive vice presidents at our hospitals. So, and then on the right side, we have a patient story that is around an older adult in Clay County. We have a brochure that we hand out. You need health care. It has the little, where you put your phone on it. I can't think of the word. Scan it.
QR code?
Yeah, thank you. And you can go right to our website and get all that information immediately. We also did something a little different this year. We gave to you what is the value of Northland Healthcare Access to Clay County, and what do we actually do? Where does your $30,000 go? Now, I can go through that, or you could read it. I don't know how long you want me to talk. I think most of you know that I could talk for a while, so I'm trying to be considerate as we go through. But you'll see all of our clinics that we serve and all of our programs. And we served over 2,000 Clay County residents, and out of those 2,000, they had almost 4,000 visits. Like to the physician's office or in prenatal or whatever program it was. I really am here to talk to you about a program that we started about a year ago, and we received our first grant about a year and a half ago from the Clay County Senior Services Fund. And this program was really to take our expertise in care coordination and focus on our older adults and their needs. This program is at its capacity for what we were funded for, and we have a waiting list in Clay County. And to give you some examples of what we do with that funding, and we've been renewed another year. It's by the Platte County Senior Services. They are so happy with this program. We get referrals from them, from all of our agencies, from hospitals, from even our physician's office. There's an older adult that needs that mentor, that partner to help them get through so many of the things that keep them from having the quality of life that they deserve. Most all of these are on a very limited income, so they barely can pay their rent, and a lot of times, as we've heard, it's true, they'll pay for a part of prescriptions. So we step up. Not only do we have a care coordinator that works one-on-one, goes into their homes, does an individual social determinants of health survey with each one of those, but then they are the person that they can call. Many times, they don't have a daughter, a son, or a partner in life, and we are their life stream. So a lot of things that we do, transportation in the Northland, we're all very aware is limited, and so we do help with transportation. We'll pay for Ubers and Lyft to go to their doors, to go if they need groceries. We will take groceries to those folks. We buy prescriptions for those folks so that they will make sure that they are taking their medications as prescribed and not just half of them trying to get through. Some things you may not think about. I know that one of the things they want so much is toilet paper and washing soap, clothes washing soap, because these things aren't covered under food stamps. And so they've spent their money, they don't have a way to do that. Another thing that we use this money for, and we are actually developing a partnership with Swope Health Services in the Northland because they have openings in their dental program. These folks will go without their dentures. Those dentures, and it's the cheapest we can get is about $1,500 a person, and we will help people with those. So, and another thing you might not even think about, a lot of them have a lot of difficulty, mobility problems, and just their shoes, getting a proper shoe. Those costs, we all know what those cost, but they don't have the money to do that. So if that's one of their needs, we do that. We have limits on what we can help each person for because we want to make the money that we have go as far as it can, but we always make special arrangements if there's emergencies or something that is in super need. And that is why we came to you, because this program is something that really, I don't think we really knew what the need was. And we're at capacity in Clay County. We had 25 people in that, and it's completely full. And we can't take any more until we get some more funding. And of course, that $20,000 is spent for the care coordinator and directly for the things that they need to help their quality of life. I'd be glad to take questions. I can go through more if you want to hear about all of our programs, but I think most of you are fairly familiar with our prenatal, our healthcare programs, how we partner with both Samuel U. Rogers at 2 locations in the Northland, and we have a health line that we market, that need help, no insurance, call this number, and we have a care coordinator working that phone all the time. So, and then we have about 8 different programs. The great thing and why it works so well with us is that we have all the hospitals that sit on our board of directors, either at a CEO or executive vice president, like I said. And so they help us design those programs. If you just think about us, because we are so unique and different, and there's not anything like us in the state of Missouri, what we've done with all of our partners, Tri-County, our hospitals, our health department, we have created a network of care for these folks that have no place else to go. So I could go on, but I know.
Commissioner Wagner, I think you want recognition?
Thank you. So, Karen, first of all, thanks for being here. And I hope last week you made lots and lots of money.
Well, yes, we hope so. We don't have the final numbers, but I know we did quite well. We started off with about $75,000 in sponsorships. So we're hoping you got to do expenses and everything.
I think you did okay then. Sounds good.
Yes,
so my question is around the new program.
Yes.
And the extended ask of $20,000 to support that program. And as I understand from what you said, there is the program has an administrator, then you go forth and do all the things that you do to help these individuals.
As a care coordinator.
As a care coordinator. So my question is, what what would that $20,000 that you're requesting be matched up to? So that we understand kind of the extra capacity or extra stuff that this request would get.
Yeah. We think with this 20,000, we can help at least another, like I said, we were supposed to stop at 25, we already have 30. So we've taken it out of our own budget rather than just this budget. But we can help 15 to 20 more older adults in Clay County. And we set a limit for each one of those folks between 400 and 500. But now again, if it's something like the dentures, we'll put together out of other programs enough money to get them what we need. So take that take 15 or 20 times 500, and then the rest would go for the actual care coordination, the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and none of your money would go for administrative of that program, not for the program director, not for any of my salary, and definitely not for the COO. It will all be direct programming money.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson.
Well, you answered one of my questions right away, but just to say, God bless you for the work that you do. It is so needed in this county, and it's very rewarding to hear someone come and say, we need funds, and then be able to wonderfully explain exactly how they're used. So thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's not always just the money. It's just, sometimes it's filling out the forms for Medicaid or Medicare or it's that kind of support too, and making sure that they're getting the best deal they can on their prescriptions. And, there's lots and lots of programs out there that can be beneficial, but they don't always know how to take advantage of those. And our care coordinators know those programs. So, more questions? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Hey, Kurt, I just want to say thanks for being here as well, and thanks for all the work you do, make a really meaningful difference in the lives of a lot of people who need it. And I just want to say I'm happy to support the full request. And like Commissioner Wagner said, hope you all had a good Bon Sant last week. I've enjoyed attending that over the years.
Yeah.
And
Taste of health.
Well, and I hope the auction went well, and I hope it was a great night. One thing I noted on the government sources of funds, the Platte County and Clay County Senior Service Funds, the equivalents, both do about $25,000.
That's correct.
And I noted that Platte County
Commission?
The Platte County government itself doesn't seem to contribute yet.
No. Years and years ago, they were one of our largest funders, just like you are. And, I don't know how many years ago, 10? A little over 10 probably, when they had new commissioners come in and they just no longer fund any outside agency, any non-for-profits at all. And we've tried, but they don't have an open ear to it at this time.
Got it. But you all do serve a good number of folks in Platte County.
Yes.
It's a whole Northland.
Yes.
All right. Well,
we serve more in Clay County simply because
More
you're
people.
larger, but we serve both counties equally. Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, I think we'll suggest to Platte County that they join us in helping fund your wonderful efforts.
Well, and I think, if I remember right, I was in a meeting where Commissioner Nolte called them and suggested possibly they might want to think about it.
I try.
I know. Thank you.
We can but plant the seeds. So,
Yes.
but I also want to say thank you very much for the good work that you've done over the years. We certainly appreciate it. This county would have less services for our citizens if not for the efforts of you and your organization. So thank you very much for the service you render to our citizens, especially those that are most in need. So we certainly appreciate that deeply.
Thank you.
Thank you. That completes that discussion item. Next discussion item is strategic plan update. Administrator?
Thank you, Commissioners. Back in May, you may recall that the Commission, office holders, and staff members gathered together to consider the future of the county and establish the foundation for the strategic plan. So tonight, and there's been a lot of work that has happened by staff since May after the conclusion of that meeting. So tonight, what I'd like to do is just give a brief overview of what the process has been and kind of highlight for you components of the strategic plan that is in your packet. The plan will be placed out on the website along with the dashboard so that we can have transparency to our citizens and so that they have an idea of what the strategic plan is and what we're working towards and striving for. So as the Commission may recall, as the group gathered back in May, they crafted, you all crafted a vision statement, which is seen on the left-hand side of the slide. And the vision statement for the county is welcoming, innovative, and safe. Clay County, Missouri is the desired destination for families, businesses, and visitors. And so a vision statement, for those that may not be aware in a strategic plan, is really the ideal state in which we want the community to be in. As a part of that workshop that you all did, 5 focus areas were identified, which are the areas that the county believes must be successful in to achieve the vision and mission statement of the county. And so those 5 focus areas are on the right-hand side of the slide: safety and well-being, financially sustainable, economic opportunity, infrastructure, and the employer of choice. During that work session, there was a lot of work done, a lot of dot polling done by everybody in the room. But the outcome of that was that the Commission identified your priorities for the next several years, 2024 through 2026. And those priorities were grouped by the 5 focus areas. So you see on the slide what those priorities are. Based on those focus areas. And I'm not going to read them all. They're all in the document that's included in your packet. But I would say that for staff, in developing the proposed 2024 budget, the focus area, the vision statement, and these commission priorities were the guiding principles of us putting together the proposed 2024 budget. After that, back in July, there were over 30 leaders from across the organization that got together and continued the next step in the planning session and identifying programs and initiatives for the departments that the county was going to focus on that align with our focus areas and our strategy and the commission priorities. In addition, in that meeting that they did, they designed and came up with and created the mission statement for the organization of how our mission is on how we do our work and serve the citizens of Clay County that align with the vision statement of the commission. In addition to that, took the opportunity to identify what are the core values. And a core value for us means what is the foundation of how do we do our work? And so the leadership group came up with 5 core values: integrity, collaboration, innovation, accountability, and customer service. All that being said, all that work being done, the next step that the group came back with is, of your focus areas, and on the screen is the example of safety and well-being, there were strategies that were identified on what are the strategies to accomplishing having a safe and well-being community that nurtures safe and secure communities. So strategies were developed, but You can have strategies, you can have goals, you can have mission, you can have vision, but if you don't have performance indicators, if you don't measure where you are, and when next year at this time we'll give an update, but what you've done, has it made a difference? And so you identify key performance indicators. And so what you see on the slides I'm going to go through in the next few pages are in the plan, but for each focus area, you'll see strategies and you will see the key performance indicators. What the department is that's responsible for that KPI, what the target is, and what the actual is back from 2022. So basically what that does is establish our baseline, because we've not done this before. And then we give it a status. So I would say that chart on the right is really kind of the dashboard with regard to the strategic plan. And so if there's a green dot, that means that the 2022 actual is either equal to or better than what the target is. So that's good. If it's yellow, then it means our actual is not meeting the target. We're close, we have some ideas in mind, but we're not there yet. And certainly if we have red, that means that the actual to the target, there's a gap, and that's an area that we have work to do. This is the one for financially sustainable. You'll see that there are 3 strategies aligned for this focus group, and then you see the KPIs that are indicated there with several green. We also have a red. We also have some yellows. Economic opportunity, we have 2 strategies we've identified, and then you see the 3 KPIs with 2 in yellow and 1 in green. In infrastructure, you'll see we have 3 strategies. We have 2 reds, a yellow and a green. And then employer of choice. So we have 2 strategies we've identified. We have 1 yellow, 1 red, and 1 that we're working on with regard to doing an employee satisfaction index. Because we've not done that, we don't have a baseline. But it's certainly a KPI that we've identified. So when we have that under each particular focus area, the next thing that you will find in the strategic plan then gets more into the nuts and bolts of the strategic plan. So each strategy has been given goals. And so you see here on this one, it's an example of safety and well-being for strategy number 1. What are the goals? And you'll see in several of these, if they were a commission priority under that goal, under that focus area and that strategy, we've identified that. But again, what does success look like? If you have a goal, how do you know when it's done, was it successful or not successful? So we've identified measures for each one of the goals, who the lead is, what the target is, and then certainly our goal is each year we'll do updates on this. And again, because this is the baseline, we have no updates for you at this point in time. So you'll find that same approach under each focus area and for each strategy in that focus area. We then have what we would call further back, we have what we call initiatives. So this is sort of at the end of the report. And so what happens in this particular area, we have tried to identify all the partners, all the departments, everyone who will collaborate that will work on that particular goal and what their initiatives are. Because as we know, many of our goals are not done by just one department. It takes several departments to accomplish that. So I'll give the example of doing a needs assessment for the detention facility or the emergency operations center or the courthouse. Certainly facilities involved, the sheriff's department is involved, but so is the IT department, because that's a critical component of our infrastructure when you're looking at those studies. And so it's that collaboration between all the departments partnering together. And so this is in the last section of the plan to basically identify everyone that's contributing to that particular goal. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. This document is out, will be out on the website after tonight. We'll have its own page, along with, we will pull out those key metrics charts that I referenced and actually put a dashboard together, because I'm sure we probably have people who don't want to read the 25-page report. However, they do want to see at a glance, how are we doing? Our goal would be next year, we come back to you. It will be in this same format, but we will be giving you updates. what has happened, what initiatives have been completed, what is the status of those initiatives, is that goal completed, how did it measure, what is the success, and then with our KPIs, what is the status? Did we move from yellow to green? Did we stay yellow? And what transpired? Our goal would be, at some point, we want to actually, under those KPIs, create more on the website. So historically, our public and our citizens can see year to year, marching towards what the goal is and improving. And I will say this, once you hit green after a couple of years, that's great, but now it's time to look at your target and move the target and continue to improve, which is our objective and our goal in meeting the vision and strategy and priorities of the commission. And with that, I'd answer any questions.
Questions or discussion? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. First, let me say thank you for this. Back in my old life, we did something very similar under Casey's stats, so I understand and believe in this and very happy that we're moving in that direction. My only question / suggestion is, and maybe I misheard, so that's kind of the reason why I'm going to ask. I tend to think that kind of a once a year is okay, but I wonder, since we only have five general areas, if it would make sense to at least once a month under our discussion kind of hit on one of those broad areas. And when we have our budget kind of taking up November and December, it still strikes me that with 5 basic areas, you can hit them twice each year and just kind of make your way through. I tend to think when you're kind of seeing those things in action, it gives us an opportunity to inject questions, which may lead to either course corrections, if you will, or opportunities that maybe we should be taking advantage of. So I would just offer, I think there's such value in this sort of thing that I would love to see how we can make that just part of a monthly discussion series and just take that focus of one of those areas. Because you're right, those areas take on multiple departments. And so as opposed to focusing on what is a department doing, it's really more of, here are the outcomes that we're working on, and collectively it provides an opportunity to get everybody that touches that together.
Right, I think that's a great idea. You're right, this year we did start with bringing a department forward at the end, just kind of an introduction, because we obviously had new commissioners.
Right.
And so, but we are trying to, and you'll see that in the budget overview that I'm going to present in a couple weeks. I've recalibrated it and aligned it to the focus areas, right? So we are trying to move in that direction, that everything we do and how we work is not necessarily tied to a particular item, but how does it fit and align in the strategic plan and the focus areas?
Fantastic. Well, again, appreciate this direction. I think it's great. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson.
I think that this has turned out better than I thought it would, frankly. And I see it as a guideline for us, and it's a great idea. One thing that I really honed in on are our core values, and I think that's the thing out of this whole thing that we all should have on our office wall and look at it every time we come in this building. And of all of them, the 2 that I think are the most important are integrity, how we all do our job, and from the bottom to the top, and I think accountability. You have got to be accountable for every decision that's made up here. It all comes back on our backs, and so we need to be extremely accountable. But I think those values, that core values that we pulled out of our meeting, is something that should guide every single one of us as we do our job. So thank you for putting that together. I appreciate it.
So, as I said, this is a compilation of 30 members from across the organization, leaders that got together and spent a day really working hard and thinking. And we currently have in some design, some posters to put the vision, mission, and values up and around the organization, because this is not something that we want to put on the shelf and put on the website and then not think about, right? This is how we do business.
Yep.
Further comments or questions? Seeing none, then we'll complete this discussion item. Thank you, Administrator. That completes the discussion part of our agenda, brings us to County Administrator comments. Administrator, a different chair, but you again.
Yeah, with the other chair. Yeah, just a couple of items, please. First of all, want to appreciate the commission and the planning commission that were here last night, sort of for the kickoff of the comprehensive plan. Want to make some announcement and invite commissioners and the public. We're going to have a pop-up event for a public engagement at North Kansas City this Saturday at their Halloween event in the park. So we encourage everyone who's going to be there to stop by our tent and participate and give us some insight about what their vision is for the county time. Do we know a time that we're going to be there? Anybody? I'm sorry, what? 1 to 4.
Thank
1 to
you.
4 Saturday, thank you. And then also with the comp plan, next Thursday, unfortunately it is a conflict with our next commission meeting, but we have a large meeting scheduled on the comp plan with stakeholders and members of the public, and that is next Thursday, and it's being held out at the golf course at Paradise Point. And so we hope people can come and attend that. The third item is we are trying to work on dates and times for budget workshops. As I said, next November 16th will be the kickoff. You will get your budget books and I will do an overview of the budget. But between November 16th and the first meeting in January, we have some workshops to schedule, so getting into a deeper dive of the budget. So trying to work, schedule out on when the commission would like to have those workshops. I would say, especially the general fund, I would say there are 3 of those meetings that will probably be at least 4 hours. So having them at the end of a meeting like tonight, could be a very long evening for everyone. We could look at a separate night meeting starting earlier. We could talk about doing something in the afternoon. Everybody has different schedules. So we had tried, I sort of took a survey to see how many would be available on Thursday afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock, and then going to 5, breaking, and then have your 6 o'clock meeting. I understand that doesn't work. That afternoon, that schedule doesn't work for a couple of commissioners, and so I'm open to suggestions on what you're thinking. If anybody has a suggestion.
Okay, and does that cover it?
I'm hoping we get some feedback.
Oh, we want feedback, okay, right now. I am sorry, Commissioner Thompson, you're recognized.
Thank you. So I am one of those commissioners that unfortunately the Thursday afternoon is very hectic and my schedule is kind of a mess before our commission meetings. So I did reach out to some of our fellow commissioners and I've heard back from four of them, that either possibly the Wednesday morning prior to the meeting suggested could work, or even that Thursday morning instead of doing the afternoon session. So.
Do we want to get a general, I'm just speaking for myself, either of those times would probably work for me. I can make it work in any case. Any other commissioner wish to be recognized to comment on that? Commissioner Withington?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Wednesday or Thursday mornings work for me. So.
Any other commissioner wishing to weigh in? Okay. Commissioner, I mean, we could use our mics. I'm not sure it's overly necessary, but you're certainly welcome to. I don't see you appearing on my screen. Well, there you go. Okay, now you are.
I'll just say yes, both of those work currently in the mornings for me. I would just ask that, probably to your request, let's figure it out, because I don't want to have other things book it. So the closer.
It would have to be after 9. It would have to be after 9 o'clock. I gotta take my daughter to school at 9, so it would have to be like at 9:30 or something.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 9:30?
Yeah, I gotta take my daughter to school at 9, so I could do Wednesday or Thursday starting after 9:30.
Okay.
Does anyone else wish to weigh in? Any other commissioner? Commissioner Johnson, do you have anything you'd like to share?
No, I'm like Mike Driscoll, I'm retired, so I got plenty of time on my hands.
Very good. Does that give you enough to work with, or would you like some more feedback?
It does. So I will take a look at the calendar, because we're talking about the last week of November would be the first one, right? We kick off on the 16th, then it's Thanksgiving, and then the following week. So I'll look at those Wednesdays and Thursdays for the next 3 weeks, and then, make sure there's not any meetings that I know of that might be a conflict. And then I'll get that out to all of you so you can block your calendars. I know some of you may have conflicts. And so the quicker you can clear your calendars, the better. And so we'll get you the dates and we'll go from there. So, and then the only last item I have is the next meeting for the commission is next Thursday, the 2nd, here at 6 o'clock in the chambers.
All right, that's great. Thank you. That brings us to commissioner comments. Commissioner Withington.
I was one of the commissioners who was absent last night, so I apologize to Kip. My kids had a Halloween thing. 3 weeks, everybody's probably going to forget I wasn't here, but in 30 years, my kids will remember I was there for them, so that was more important, so sorry, Kip. Big baseball fan, Royals #1 team, Diamondbacks #2. Game 1 of the World Series is tomorrow. And to Mr. Molinex, I hope that we can actually get him some questions. I don't know is not an appropriate answer, I don't think. I mean, he pays his taxes just like everybody else. Been a broken record. We need to have a road plan so we can tell people like Mr. Molinex when his road's gonna be done. I don't know is not a good answer. So sorry that you're having to go through that, Mr. Molinex.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yeah, so Lee, thank you for coming.
By the way, the thing is, we can, certainly in my opinion,
Okay,
it's in order to
got
make
it,
those
I got it,
comments. What
I
is
got
not
it.
in order is to
I
have
got it.
discussion on them. So
Okay,
if you'd
Mr.
like to echo comments, please make your comments.
All right, my comment is, it's a damn shame that we haven't got the roads fixed properly. It's a damn shame that Petty Road, that nobody lives on except one farm, and it's all the way along there, along I-35. It's a damn shame that that was done, and roads like his, roads like 135th, 144th, those kind of roads that are loaded with people aren't taken care of properly. So I know there's reasoning sometimes. It's just that a long time ago, Commissioner Withington asked the simple question, can I have a plan? I'd like to see when road A, B, C, D is done. Looking on the computer is not good enough because I get a call, I'm driving down the road, maybe I shouldn't be on the phone talking, but I answer anyway. It'd be real nice if I had all that kind of paperwork with me, pull over, look at in my little book and say, oh, don't worry about it, your road's gonna be in a month. Or I'm sitting at home in my jammies watching TV, somebody calls me, I can pick up my book, look at it, and know exactly when somebody's road is going to be fixed, or maybe it's not going to be fixed for 5 years. But I feel like a stupid idiot when I can't answer those simple questions. So bottom line is, we need to get it together. I agree with you 1,000%. God bless you for coming. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the conversations we've had, and that's all I got to say.
Very good. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. I'll say go D-backs, #1. #2, I do appreciate your steadfastness and tenacity, Mr. Molinex, and it is a shame when everyone has to come to try to get answers.
Again, Commissioner Wagner, discussion's not allowed, comments are.
No, so the only comment to that is just simply that as we strive for more transparency, and I do believe that that is the direction that we are heading, then that is, people want to know what's going on in their county, what do their taxes pay for, and so on and so forth. It would be my hope that as we go forward in that transparent direction, that those resources become more available to answer those questions so that our citizens can get those answers without having to call you while they're driving, which there's laws now about that. And, but otherwise, all kidding aside, we want to show a value to our customer who is our resident, and to the extent that we keep moving in that direction, I think that helps all of our citizens, and it helps us to answer questions. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Carpenter, do you have any comments you'd care to make?
No comments, thank you.
Commissioner Thompson?
I'll keep it very simple this evening. I agree 100% with our fellow commissioners with the issues with our roads that we're having with our community. And it is sad that we have to have citizens come up and talk to us about this, and we can't just address it very simply and get them some answers. So I will not go into a big tangent right now, but I will say we're hoping that we can get some resolution and some productive conversations going here real soon, and I'm gonna keep it easy, so have a good day.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson, no comments? I certainly believe that there are two general areas that we work in the county government. One is roads and bridges, one is law enforcement, and to keep our people safe. I think our staff does a good job and is able to do a lot with it, but as with all of us, we can all step up our game, and I appreciate the fact that staff does try to get these things done, and I think working with staff, we can improve the services that we, as a county government, deliver to our people. So I'm looking forward to ways of doing that, and that's part of why the plan outlined by the administrator some moments ago was so important. It gives us the framework to work through those improvements, and when I look at people who need improvement, first place I look is in the mirror. So I think that as long as we are working together in good faith, we have every opportunity to make sure that we engage each other within government respectfully and make sure that we are able to improve what we do for the people that we serve. With that is the end of Commissioner comments. That brings us to executive sessions. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. I move to go into executive session pursuant to the revised statutes of Missouri, section 610.021, sub 1 and sub 12 for legal and contractual issues, and to adjourn therefrom.
Motion's been made to go into executive session under legal, that is Missouri statute 610.021, parentheses 1, contractual, and number sub 12. Contractual is 12, legal is 1. I read through that a little bit too quickly. With that, is there any discussion? Seeing none, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yep.
Motion passes 6-0.